Hi, hello, welcome back. Now this should be a really unique and interesting video, and it will be really close up, really zoomed in shots, and you'll be able to see how I present tools, how the timber reacts to the tool itself, and the surface left behind. So should be a really interesting one. I'll pretty much use all the power in my phone camera, so should be really interesting. So you're going to see this lovely plate, lovely ash, a spalted plate being turned. Okay, so this is a really nice size dinner plate, 9 inches diameter, and while I rough turn this, I left this knob in the center and I just threw it up at the moment, just so I can grab with step jaws and we can turn the outside. So I'll set up the camera and we'll start with close-up shots. Okay, so first step, as always, is to throw it up here, and I'll be using a 1/2 inch spindle gouge. You can see how it's sharpened. The speed will be around 1450 RPM until I throw it up. So I'll use a wing to throw up the foot here, and I'll also throw up this step or foot, and now again using I hope you can see the polished edge just here. Let me grab a pencil. So right here is where I'm using the gouge, so just throwing up. The foot is around 10 o'clock and I have the handle dropped down to my waist height, and I'm squeezing the hand, taking away all the rough stuff, and I can throw up diameter. So we have this area nice and trued up. I have this start of this area here, but what I'll also do is true up the top here. Okay, so I reposition the camera, and now the flute will be facing around 2:30, let's say, o'clock, and now it's slightly higher handle. I don't drop it to my waist height, so slightly higher, and just place your fingers underneath or grab by the tool rest, and I just push forward with thumb. And again, you can see where the dust is coming from, so this is the edge I'm using just to true it up, and that's nice and true. We have the diameter true and this portion here. Okay, so now we can throw up the bottom here. So this area here, you remember I threw it up here. I can do a little bit more, and now I have nice smooth place to rest the bevel of the gouge. Here you can hear the different sound, how it knocks, and here it's nice and smooth. So get here. You can close the gouge to 3 o'clock until you get a little bit of shaving. Open it up to 2 o'clock, and now you'll see this area here that the dust is coming from. And nice and slowly. Nice and slowly through center. And you can close the gouge as you're coming through the center. There we go. Now the surface left behind is actually quite nice, and you can see a lot of different colors in it, green and everything. This lovely here portion. So the surface is quite good, straight from the spindle gouge, but if I start to sand, then you'll see all the different ridges and everything. So I want to smooth everything up, and I like to use scrapers for that, and we need a holding point here as well, so that's something to do as well. And we can find the center, which is here. And I know that these step jaws, the outside diameter is roughly 100 mil, so if I go 50 mil and make a recess, that should be okay. Okay, so now I'll use this 1/2 inch square end scraper, and it actually, I hope you can see, it's not square across, it has a slight curve to the right. This is a tool that I've learned from my mentor Richard Raffin. And the way I like to do this, and I'm holding the scraper differently as I have the camera really close here, so I don't block it or bump it into it. So I push one corner in and then roll it to the right, get the other corner in, and then go back and forth. Slowly, you don't have to rush it. And that's around 2 mil deep recess, which is actually okay. So I'm just going lightly, just to smooth it up a little bit. You can see lovely shavings, and I'm not trying to engage all of the edge at once. You can see how it travels. Hope you can see a little spot. You'll see how it travels left and right, and how little of point of contact is actually. Hope you can see it. Clean up the scraper. Okay, so that's nice and clean on the inside. Now we need to undercut it for jaws, dovetail jaws, so I'm using skew. And this will be perpendicular to the plate, and I'm going like this at a slight angle. Doesn't have to be exact angle, but just a little bit. Now I need to true up or smooth up this part of the timber. Use a refiner. Getting a really nice shaving, and that's, you want to see the surface probably as well. So I hope you can see that this area here and the bottom of the recess are clean, really clean. And I'll show you when we get to sanding stage, just a few seconds with 180 grit. You'll see the surface, and you just want to make sure that you're touching the outside point of the foot here. So now it's always nice to do something with this area here, and I'll use a spindle gouge 1/2 inch just to first make some sort of a detail here. Like so. That's nice and clean. Let's make another bead, or full bead actually. So that's good. This little tiny ridge, hope you can see it, that will sand out without any issues. Now I just grabbed 1/2 inch scraper again, square end. I need to bring the rest up. So when I lift the handle, I'm scraping at the center height or slightly above it. And I want to remove some of this and make it into a nice dome. I bumped the camera, sorry about that. There we go, so that's nice and clean. Maybe a little brush here as well. I'm moving around the camera, so I do apologize if I bump it. So I hope you can see I'm scraping at the center height or slightly above it. And now this is again nice and clean, and I'll just clean up this corner a little bit. before I move to this area here, I just want to use the skew side, which is this area here, to just brush this corner here so it's not sharp. Okay, so now I can focus on this area here, and again here I like to use a refiner. I can go right into the corner and just lightly go across. Now the shavings probably will block the camera lens, phone lens. So I'll try to show you this from a different angle. So I'll show you from this angle. Hopefully dust won't cover the lens this time. So here I'm getting a little bit of vibration since it's a little bit thin. So I'll support the back with my fingers. You can see which part of the edge I'm using. And now that's really nice and smooth. Really light touch. And I'll show you the entire surface on the bottom. So I hope you can see that's really nice surface straight from the tool. So I'll quickly do sanding. I'll just touch up with 180 grit so you can see the surface a little bit better, or any of the imperfections maybe. So 180 grit. So I'll just quickly rub each surface with 180 grit, just a little bit. Okay, so now I hope you can see again really nice surface. And let me just bring you a little bit from this angle. Bear with me while I move the camera. So hopefully from this angle you'll be able to see. And let's adjust the focus a little bit. There we go. So I hope you can see just a few seconds with 180 grit, that's pretty much done. I can pretty much move from this point to 240 grit. I'll just do a few more rubs with 180. If there is any lump or anything that I missed, so will be taken care of. And I'll use 240 grit. Bear with me while I take the paper. So 240. That's looking really nice. Hope you can see. And we'll do 320. that's it. Remove the dust from the corners, and that's it. That's a really lovely surface. You can see lovely texture, and should be really interesting when we get the oil on. So we can turn this around. So I'll be grabbing by this small recess. It's around 2 mil, maybe even less than that. I do believe in these VICMARK jaws to be able to do this. And the plate is running nice and true, which is what you want. Now let's start with the rim here first. This is spindle gouge, and I'll be supporting the back of the plate. So first I just want to put a rough shape in, and let's see if I can get a little bit more light. There we go. And I'll ride the bevel going like this, maybe more towards in, like so. And let's see how I want to do this. So first I need to clear up this detail, and just a little. Let's see if I can go up to here with the flat. I think that should be okay. So here I'll use again refiner just to smooth up the rim here. I'm supporting the back of the plate. And you really don't want to push here. You don't want to hear that high-pitched sound. So really nice subtle curve, and I think that should be okay. Maybe a little bit more in, like so. And I need to address this edge here. So this is 10 mil spindle gouge, and just want to make this detail nice and clean, going all the way down to the rim. And once again I'll use a refiner just to get into this very corner. Okay, so that's really nice and clean, and while I have the refiner in my hand, I'll just clean up this. So it's nice and smooth. So like I said, I think the flat area should be okay if I start around here. So I can make a detail, another detail here. So this is 3/4 inch square end scraper. Now you can use a 1/2 inch, really doesn't matter. Shavings fly everywhere, and there is not much where I can place the camera. Actually, I'll try something else. So I reposition the camera a little bit differently. So I'll start with the flat area here. Just roughly first. So that's around 1/2 inch thickness, maybe a bit more. And I'll stop here at the moment. So now I have this band here, which I want to do a little decoration as well. I'll just probably reduce it ever so slightly. I grabbed 1/2 inch square end scraper. Okay, I think that should be okay. This is 1/2 inch spindle gouge. See the curve from the refiner, if it works maybe a bit better. No, it's a too shallow of a curve. So this is bowl scraper, big bowl scraper, and this curve should be quite right. Okay, I'm quite pleased with this. So it's a nice shallow transition. I can drop it down a little bit more. Like so. And now we'll get to the straight portion here. Fun part, removing all this waste with a square end scraper. Now it would be a good idea to just double check the thickness here, and I think I have just enough gap so I can fit the calipers in. Well, almost. So it's around 8 mil here on the thinnest part. So I need to get down to the bottom of this hole, which is actually quite deep. This is not a good sign. Okay, still I have enough timber and still a little hole in the center. Now this will scream. And again, I need to support the back of the plate, especially here close to the rim. Okay, so it sounds thin, but it's actually I think around 4 mil, which is okay, and it doesn't flex anywhere, which is good. And I did remove, I think, the center hole, although it's quite visible due to the discoloration, but I think it will sand out quite easily. Now, this is a little straight edge. I just want to see, there is a little hump here, hope you can see in this area here, right where the chuck is. So not ideal, but I still have enough timber to sort this. So just a light scrape. Okay, so that's nice and flat. And now I need to finish up this detail here, again with a big bowl scraper supporting the back. And I think that's looking really, really nice. And I'll just clean up this very corner with the skew. There we go. And since you have this corner, what I'll do is with the spindle gouge, just put a little tiny groove, and here as well. Just a small groove that will distinguish the corner, but also will be easier to sand. And that looks perfect, ready for sanding. I need dust hood back, 180 grit again. There is no hole in the center, but you can see the center. This green discoloration that you saw on the bottom is still here around this, which was a hole for the screw chuck. So quite weird, but maybe I'll sand it out. Corners. And 320. That's sanding done. Just clean up the corners with the shavings. And that's looking really, really nice. Nice and clean. Ready for the oil. So I hope you can see there is no hole, but there is a discoloration in the very center. So quite unusual, but it is what it is. And you can see the detail here, reverse curve, and then this curve here, and these little ridges sort of distinguish it. And the bottom as well. Now again, there's no flex to it, and I can tell you the thickness. So here, when I press it, it's 4-5 mil, something like that. So there is enough timber here to support dinner, whatever dinner you put on. Slightly thicker would be ideal for me, at least, but I didn't need to get down to the bottom of this hole here, but turned out quite nicely. So I'll put the oil on, sign it first, put the oil on, and you'll see the final plate. I wipe away the excess oil and sign it, of course, and you can see how it looks now. So lovely bead on the foot here, and a lovely grain on this particular ash. And when I flip it over, if I close it like this, maybe you can see a little bit better on these details here, how they look. And this famous dot in the middle, which again, it's not a hole or anything like that, it's just discoloration, but it has kind of its charm, let's say. So, and the profile, so really nice dinner plate. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoy these close-up shots, and see you in the next video.